Hello, good morning, students. So, today we will talk about plastic fat. We will basically know what is plastic fat, why it is required, and how it is processed. Now, we all know that fats and oils are abundantly available in nature in both plant and animal sources. Today, we will understand how these naturally available fats and oils can be customized to make a very essential ingredient in food processing industries, that is plastic fat. Now, the basic concept is to incorporate plasticity in the matrix of fat or fat blend. What is plasticity? Plasticity, as we have understood from the rheological science, that it is nothing but this is a property exhibited by some substances which can flow only beyond a particular shear stress, and beyond that shear stress it shows either Newtonian or non-Newtonian flow behavior after this critical stress. So these plastic substances can be deformed beyond a critical stress. So this is the inherent property of a plastic substance. So when we blend or amalgamate this plastic property with our commonly available oil or fat, we get this plastic fat. Here, these are some common examples of plastic fat, that is some butter margarine sample, as we are seeing that these are being applied on in our toasted bread. Next, some pastries, or it is used as peanut butter or as a chocolate coating, as we are seeing over here. So basically, plasticity of fat means to be able to hold its shape but still can be deformed under light pressure. That is the inherent property of a plastic fat, and for to exhibit this property, a plastic fat should have two phases, and that those two phases should be in proportion. That means the solid crystal phase, which will be dispersed in the liquid phase, and the liquid phase, which will be interlocked or enmeshed in the solid phase. So this is the basic structural condition which has to be complied to exhibit the plastic property. Why this plastic fat is required? Basically, plastic fat, it influences the overall eating quality by improving the mouthfeel or the release of flavor, and it also shows non-greasiness, that is non-stickiness at refrigeration temperature. But the main enhancement comes due to usage of plastic fat is the improvement of the texture of the fat blend, which ensures uniform spreadability, and ultimately plastic fat also increases the shelf life of its raw oil or raw fat blend. Plastic fat has its abundant use in bakery and in confectionery. In bakery, it gives both tenderizing action, where the fat itself helps the dough to absorb more air, to incorporate more air during dough making process, and for that the dough becomes this kind of fluffy. Okay, the softness of the dough comes because of that. And the second thing is to lubricate the dough, that is to break the continuity of the gluten and water structure, to lubricate it, and that actually imparts the shining and smooth dough in the final blend. So here we have seen that if we don't use plastic fat, the dough becomes this, it will be crumbling action. And if we use plastic fat, then the dough becomes this kind of smooth dough. Okay, second in confectionery. In confectionery, it is used in two forms. One is as a coating fat, where actually plastic fat is used as a smooth, uniform viscoplastic dispersion, where the confectionery material that can be coated with this chocolate blend, which is basically a viscoplastic suspension of chocolate fat. And also it can be used as solid chocolate confection, where actually it is giving the tender and whipped matrix. So basically in confectionery we get this kind of decorative item by the usage of this plastic fat. Now, how to process plastic fat? The vegetable oil, which is abundantly available in nature, this is, we can use the vegetable oil with a blend of this solid fat. The solid fat melt basically comes from, again, the vegetable oil by either interesterification or hydrogenation or fractionation process. This vegetable oil can be processed into solid fat. This solid fat then again can be blended with the raw vegetable oil in this blending or mixing stages. We can either proceed by only vegetable oil or exclusively by the solid fat melt, or we can blend these two to make this final blend of plastic fat. After this blending, basically this blending happened at about 10 to 12 degrees centigrade more the temperature of this fat melt, so that the solid fat will be in molten condition and it can be well mixed with the vegetable oil. In this blending or mixing stages, there will be the uniform dispersion of the oil we will achieve. After this will be allowed to pass through a scraped surface heat exchanger, which is nothing but a crystallizer, where it will be initiated to the nucleation stages to take place. So the crystals will be first developed over here, and depending on the rate of cooling or the depending on the raw oil blend, the size, shape and form of the crystal will be formed. So after this proper crystallization part, when the solid crystals will be formed inside the plastic fat, then it will be inside the fat blend, then it will be passed through the votator or kneader, where the uniform dispersion of the solid crystals will take place. That means the solid crystals will be uniformly dispersed in the whole matrix, and the liquid phase will be enmeshed in the solid crystal, that will be interlocked in the solid crystals. And ultimately, this actually gives this the smooth texture like this. So the consistency will be changed from the raw oil, that is the liquid phase, to this kind of semi-solid phase, which is the plastic phase. In this plastic phase, it will be allowed to fill in either bulk pack or the retail pack. If it is made for the retail butter or margarine sample, then it will be retail pack, or if it made for the industrial grade shortening, then it will be bulk pack. And then finally it will be stored at cold condition. And see here, I have tried to show the transformation of this fat to ultimately this consistent phase. So typically, by the through the different operational and transformational stages, we here we have changed the physical phase of the fat blend, that is triglyceride, in such a way so that the plasticity the plastic property is very successfully incorporated in the raw oil blend to give this kind of consistency, and that is known as plastic fat. Now we will do some interesting in-class activities to exhibit some more examples or to emphasize this concept of plastic fat in a broader way. Thank you.